Welcome to my life, a life that went from the suffocating hell of an abusive marriage to the dizzying heights of a rebound romance, only to crash and burn in a spectacular dumpster fire of betrayal involving my new, perfect boyfriend and my best friend neighbor. This is the story of how I lost everything I thought I had, stared into the abyss of pure nastiness, and decided to unleash a level of pure, unadulterated karma that would make the devil himself blush. If you think you know betrayal, buckle up. You haven't seen anything yet. The air in that house was thick, heavy with unspoken threats and the constant low hum of fear. Leaving him wasn't a decision. It was a desperate, gasping flight for survival. One day felt just like the one before, walking on eggshells, praying I wouldn't say or do the wrong thing, bracing myself for the storm. Then, one morning, something inside me just snapped. It wasn't brave, not really. It was just the absolute raw exhaustion of being constantly afraid. So I packed a bag, threw it in my car, and drove until his town was a speck in the rearview mirror. I landed in a new state, in a small, sad apartment, feeling like a ghost in my own life, bruised, both inside and out. I was a shell of the person I used to be. Loneliness was a physical ache. It was during this time, adrift and vulnerable, that I reconnected with people online. Scrolling through faces from my past, a message popped up. It was from a guy named Brendan. He said we'd gone to the same school way back when. He remembered me. I looked at his profile picture. Holy hell. Drop dead gorgeous. Tattoos peeked out from his shirt sleeves. His body looked sculpted, the kind of build you only get from serious time in the gym. And he was smiling at me? Before we continue with our story, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel. This helps us grow and bring to you more such stories. My memories of school were hazy, colored by the usual awkwardness of those years. I had no idea who he was. Curiosity got the better of me. I dug out an old yearbook. Flipping through the pages, I found his picture. My jaw dropped. The kid in the photo was, well, he wasn't this guy. The transformation was unbelievable. He looked like a different species. Amazing didn't even begin to cover it. We started talking, and talking, and talking. Messages turned into late-night calls. He was funny, sweet, and incredibly attentive. He listened to me. He made me laugh. He seemed genuinely interested in my life, my feelings. After years of being belittled and shut down, having someone actually care felt like a miracle. He was gentle, protective. Everything my ex wasn't. In my eyes, he was perfect. The fact that this incredible-looking man, who seemed so kind and strong, was interested in me, broken and running, felt like a glitch in the universe I wasn't going to question. We fell hard and fast. Too fast. Looking back, it was a dizzying, reckless plunge fueled by my desperate need for connection, for safety, for anything that wasn't the life I had just escaped. He was hundreds of miles away, but the distance felt insignificant compared to the gaping hole in my heart. After only a few weeks of nonstop communication, he suggested something crazy. He wanted to move, cross-country, to be with me. My rational brain, what little was functioning back then, screamed that this was insane. We barely knew each other in person. He was picking up his whole life and moving for someone he'd only talked to on the phone. But the part of me that was starved for love, for validation, for someone to just be there, drowned out the caution. It felt like a fairy tale. A gorgeous knight riding across the country to save the damsel in distress. Stupid? Oh yeah. 100% my Rebound relationship, written in giant, flashing red letters. But I didn't see the letters then. I only saw the rescue. He moved in. Just a few short weeks after that first message. It was a blur of unpacking boxes, navigating a new city together, and trying to make this lightning-fast relationship work. For a couple of months, it was good. We were in love, or what I thought was love. We found a small house, started fixing it up, painting walls, planning a future. It felt stable, safe, everything I craved. Our little house was part of a small, friendly neighborhood. A couple of doors down, a light was off and on. One sunny afternoon, as Brendan and I were wrestling with a stubborn piece of furniture on the porch, the neighbors came out. A woman with a kind smile and bright eyes, and a friendly-looking guy beside her. They introduced themselves, Chloe and Adam. We started chatting right there on the sidewalk. We quickly discovered we were all about the same age. They were 29 and 32. Brendan and I were both 31. Living just 2 doors down from people our own age felt like hitting the neighbor jackpot. We were genuinely thrilled. The 4 of us clicked instantly. It wasn't forced. It was easy, natural. We started spending time together. Casual hellos turned into shared coffees, then weekend barbecues, then spontaneous weeknight dinners. The friendship blossomed at the same rapid pace as my relationship with Brendan had. Soon it wasn't just dinner occasionally. It was dinner 4 nights a week. We'd combine groceries, cooking together in one kitchen or the other, eating like a little family. We exchanged keys to each other's houses, just in case. Chloe became my confidant, my sounding board, my partner in crime. She quickly became my best friend. Adam was laid back and funny, a perfect balance to Chloe's bubbly energy, just like Brendan was to my quieter nature. We were welcomed into Chloe's parents' home for holidays, treated like extra kids. It was wholesome, genuine, and exactly the kind of stable, loving connection I desperately needed after the isolation of my previous life. I felt like I had finally found my place, my people. I had a loving boyfriend, a comfortable home, and a best friend practically living next door. Life, finally, felt good. I remember standing in the front row at Chloe and Adam's wedding. It was a beautiful day. Chloe looked radiant. Adam beamed. As they said their vows, promising forever, tears streamed down my face. Not sad tears, but tears of pure, unadulterated joy for my best friend and her wonderful husband. I remember thinking how lucky we all were, how perfect this little foursome was. We had it all, LOL. Yeah, about that perfect. One Tuesday night, not long after Chloe and Adam's wedding, I was curled up on the couch, scrolling through my phone. Brendan was in the kitchen, getting a glass of water. From the kitchen, you could see the front door and part of the driveway, clearly. Suddenly, the quiet of the evening was shattered. The loudest, most violent pounding on our front door erupted. It wasn't just knocking. It was like someone was trying to beat the door down. And the screaming. A man's voice, filled with pure raw rage, spitting out every profanity imaginable. My heart leaped into my throat. I honestly thought someone was trying to break in, that we were in danger. I looked towards the kitchen, expecting to see Brendan grabbing something to defend us, calling the police. Instead, I saw his face. It was pure effing white. Every ounce of color had drained away, leaving him looking like he'd seen a ghost. His eyes were wide with a fear I'd never seen before. Don't open that door, he choked out, his voice barely a whisper, shaky and tight. The pounding continued, the screams getting louder, more frantic. Open the damn door. I know. You're in there. My mind raced. Who the hell was that? Why was Brendan so terrified? This was the protective man who made me feel safe. He looked ready to pass out cold on the linoleum. Then I heard it. Amidst the torrent of curses, I heard the voice clearer. It was Adam, our neighbor, my best friend's husband. Adam was pounding on our door, screaming like a lunatic. What in God's name was happening? What the hell is going on, Brendan? I yelled, pushing myself off the couch, fear mixing with confusion and a rising wave of panic. Brendan looked at me. His eyes were filled with a sick kind of resignation. He reached up, slowly pulled his shirt off, and let it drop to the floor. It was like he was preparing for battle, or maybe just accepting his fate. He looked at me, his face still pasty white, and mumbled, "Well, I guess this is happening now. I'm sorry, Eleanor." Sorry? Sorry for what? He walked towards the door, every step heavy, like he was walking to his own execution. He unlocked the deadbolt, pulled the door open, and stepped out onto the porch. The second the door was open, Adam launched himself forward. He didn't hesitate. He punched Brendan square in the face. The crack of the impact echoed in the sudden, stunned silence that followed the screaming. Brendan staggered back, clutching his jaw. Adam stood over him, chest heaving, eyes blazing with a fury I'd never imagined possible. "How long have you been fucking my wife?" Adam roared, the sound tearing through the quiet evening air. The words hit me like a physical blow. Fucking my wife? Adam's wife? Chloe? My best friend? My legs gave out from under me. I literally dropped to my knees on the living room floor. The world tilted. The comfortable room, the sounds of the neighborhood, everything faded into a dull roar. Only Adam's furious accusation and Brendan's stunned silence remained. Tears welled up instantly, hot and stinging. Through the blur, I looked at Brendan, who was still nursing his jaw, refusing to meet my eyes. "Please," I choked, out, my voice thick with tears and disbelief. "Please tell me this isn't true." He didn't answer. His silence was the only answer I needed. Then, my eyes drifted past Adam, who was now circling Brendan, ready for another go. Standing a few feet behind him, partially hidden in the shadow of our porch light, was Chloe. B. Oh wait, I called her B in my head for so long. Let's stick with that internal nickname for my traitor best friend. B was standing there. My best friend, my confidant, the woman whose wedding I cried happy tears at. Seeing her face, a mixture of shame, fear, and something else I couldn't quite place, snapped something inside me. The tears dried instantly. The fear vanished, replaced by a scorching, pure, white-hot rage. This bitch. I had given this woman a key to my home, a key to my sanctuary. I had shared meals with her, secrets with her, dreams with her. And she had been sleeping with my boyfriend? In my home? While I was out? Or worse, while I was here, outside, Adam and Brendan were now properly throwing punches in the driveway. It wasn't a clean fight. It was a messy, desperate brawl. Neighbors, drawn by the screaming and the sound of the fight, were starting to peek out of their doors, murmuring. Adam wasn't quiet about it either. He was screaming at the top of his lungs, repeating the accusation for the whole street to hear. "He's been sleeping with my wife! This guy is fucking my wife!" Amidst the chaos outside, Chloe, B, had the unbelievable audacity to try and step past Adam and Brendan, heading towards my open door. Towards me. "Eleanor, I need to talk to you," she said, her voice shaky, reaching a hand out towards me. "Talk? Talk? About what? How you've been screwing my boyfriend behind my back for months? How you pretended to be my best friend while actively destroying my life?" Rage surged through me. I scrambled to my feet, my body trembling with fury. "Don't," I warned, my voice low and shaking. "Don't you take another step towards this door. Don't you dare step foot in my home." She paused for a second, hesitated, then took a step anyway. Her foot crossed the threshold of my doorway. That was all it took. All the pain, all the betrayal, all the years of feeling powerless finally boiled over. I didn't think. I didn't hesitate. I drew back my arm and punched her, bare-fisted, right in the face. The sound was a sickening thud. The shock registered on her face just before she stumbled back, clutching her nose. Let me tell you, hitting someone bare-fisted for the first time, it effing hurt. My knuckles screamed in protest the second the impact landed. But the feeling of connection, of finally striking back, was a strange, dark satisfaction I can't fully explain. NGL. Part of me wanted to do it again. And again, by this point the cops had been called. Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Chloe, B, was crying now, more from shock and pain than remorse, I suspected. When the officers arrived, sorting through the absolute mess of a scene, 2 guys brawling in the driveway, 1 woman clutching her bleeding nose on the porch, another woman standing rigid with rage in the doorway. She actually tried to press charges against me for punching her, LMFAO. Seriously? You come to my house, after screwing my boyfriend for months, and you try to press charges because I reacted badly? The cops took one look at the situation, heard Adam's story, which he was still loudly proclaiming, and basically told her to pound sand. Self-defense, provocation, choose your reason. But I wasn't the one going to jail that night. The immediate aftermath was a blur. Statements to the police, hushed questions from neighbors, the surreal feeling of my entire world imploding on my front porch. Brendan was silent, defeated. Adam was furious but strangely calm now that the fighting was over, his rage replaced by a cold, hard pain. B, well, she just looked pathetic, tear-streaked and exposed. The truth, the ugly, soul-crushing truth came out in pieces. B had apparently confessed to Adam during marriage counseling. They'd been trying to work through issues, and her guilt had finally broken her. The revelation that my perfect, gentle boyfriend and my wonderful, kind best friend had been screwing each other was devastating enough. But then came the timeline. Come to find out, B and Brendan hadn't just hooked up once or twice. They'd been at it, on the regular, after just 2 weeks of the four of us meeting. 2 weeks. All that time we spent together. Dinners, laughs, shared confidences, their wedding. They had been lying to us, betraying us, making fools of Adam and me. This lovely family I thought we had built turned out to be a sick joke, more twisted and cruel than anything Adam or I could have ever imagined. I felt so incredibly stupid. Looking back, the red flags weren't just there. They were waving in my face like a damn parade. B crying drunkenly before her wedding, saying she was a horrible friend to me. I had no idea what she meant, just patted her back and told her she was the best. The constant big brother and little sister jokes between B and Brendan. How they had this weirdly close, almost sibling bond that I just dismissed as them being comfortable with each other. Hindsight is 20/20, and in this case, it was a kick to the gut. Everything made horrifying sense. The stolen glances, the inside jokes, the times they disappeared together, just for a quick chat. It was all code for their sordid little affair. Needless to say, everything was over. My relationship with Brendan, my friendship with B, the neighborly bond with Adam, though he and I shared a different kind of bond now, that of the mutually screwed over. My perfect little life, built on the shaky foundation of a rebound and surrounded by lies, crumbled into dust. But the story doesn't end there. Losing everything felt like a death. The grief, the anger, the humiliation. It was almost too much to bear. But after the initial shock wore off, a different feeling started to simmer. Rage. Cold, hard, vengeful rage. They had made a fool of me. They had taken my trust and stomped on it, and I wasn't about to let them just walk away unscathed. Especially not Brendan. Looking back, Brendan was always weirdly secretive with his phone. If he got a message while he was with me, he'd quickly grab it and turn away. He never left it lying around unlocked. At the time, I just thought he was private. Now I knew better. Petty me wanted to see what else this gentle, perfect man was hiding. Brendan was constantly on this one social media platform. He'd spend hours scrolling, typing, hiding his screen from me. My mind, fueled by fury and a burning need for answers, went into overdrive. How could I get in? I racked my brain, thinking about anything he'd ever said or done that might give me a clue. Then it hit me. When he set up our Wi-Fi when he moved in, he'd mumbled the password out loud as he typed it. It was something simple, easy to remember. Could he possibly be dumb enough to use the same password for his super secret social media life? Fueled by adrenaline and pure spite, I grabbed my laptop, went to the social media site, and entered his username, which I knew. Then, I typed in the Wi-Fi password. It worked. I was in, and what I found. I wasn't just shocked. I was absolutely effing horrified. This wasn't just a guy who cheated with one person. This wasn't just a mistake or a moment of weakness. This dude was a professional, a serial deceiver. My perfect boyfriend had been keeping relationships with and screwing. Over, not one, not two, but over 40+ women over the past year. My stomach turned. My hands shook as I scrolled through hours and hours of messages. The sheer volume of his lies was staggering. He had entire fake lives running simultaneously. I read through messages to women from all over the state, the country, even internationally. There was a single mom who lived 10 minutes from my house. He'd met her at the gym, of course, his favorite hunting ground. And the icing on that horrifying cake? He was also messaging her 18-year-old daughter, shooting his shot with her, too. I wanted to vomit. I found multiple women he was telling I love you to. 6 of them, in various stages of believing his lies. 2 women were talking about the future, hoping for a ring, completely oblivious that they were just 2 names on a very, very long list. And at some point, he had slept with every single one of them he could, except for the 18-year-old, who he was still actively pursuing. And the biggest kicker, the most delicious piece of information, not a single one of these women knew about each other. Not the I love yous, not the hopefuls, not the gym mom, and certainly not my now ex-best friend, B. Turns out, B had told Adam that Brendan was going to marry her. Can you imagine? While he was telling 6 other women he loved them, and others, he wanted a future. He had her believing he was going to propose. A lot of you might be asking the same thing I was. How the hell did he have time for all of this? The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. He would often go on these long motorcycle rides for hours, clearing his head. He'd be at the gym for hours, working on his fitness goals. He'd go shooting with guys from the gym. All lies, all code for meeting up with one of his rotation of women. My stomach churned with disgust. But the disgust quickly gave way to that simmering rage again. He had not only betrayed me, but he had systematically lied to and hurt dozens of other women. And he thought he was getting away with it. Not on my watch. A cold, calculated calmness settled over me. I wasn't going to cry anymore. I wasn't going to feel stupid anymore. I was going to expose him. Every lie, every betrayal, every single woman he had hurt. I spent hours meticulously gathering evidence. I took screenshots of everything. The messages to the gym mom and her daughter, the I love you declarations, the ring talks, the sheer volume of contacts. I put together a narrative, outlining my story with Brendan, the timeline of our relationship, and the devastating discovery. I included screenshots that showed our life together, like a picture he'd sent me saying he was, showing it to his uncle and telling him he'd found the one I'm going to marry. I wanted to show these women not just that he was cheating, but how elaborate and cruel his deception was, how he could maintain multiple serious-sounding relationships simultaneously. Then, I put my plan into action. I systematically messaged every single woman I could identify from his contacts and messages. I sent them my story, attached the damning screenshots, and let them know they weren't alone. I didn't sugarcoat it. I laid it all out. I put him on blast. Hard. The hours that followed were a strange mix of emotions. My phone started buzzing nonstop, with replies. The messages I received back were incredibly sad, filled with hurt and disbelief. Women who thought they were in love, who were planning futures, suddenly had their worlds shattered. But amidst the sadness, there was also a dark humor. The realization that we had all been played for fools by the same pathetic man created a weird sense of solidarity. We were the sisterhood of Brendan's victims. Some of the women were understandably devastated and angry. Others were just numb. A few, once the initial shock wore off, started sharing their own experiences, their own red flags they'd ignored. We connected over the absurdity of it all, the sheer audacity of this man. I even made a few genuine friends out of the wreckage. One of the women shared screenshots of the messages Brendan was now receiving. His phone was apparently blowing up. The sheer volume of angry, heartbroken, and frankly, not-so-nice messages he was being flooded with was immense. We had a good laugh reading them. My revenge was working. Karma, delivered with a digital hammer. A few hours after I unleashed my truth bomb on his secret network of women, a text message came through on my own phone. It was Brendan. "What the hell did you do?" it read. I smiled. A cold, hard, satisfied smile. I didn't write a long explanation. I didn't justify myself. I just typed out the simplest, most fitting response I could think of. Karma's a bitch, isn't it? That was it. I blocked his number. I heard through the grapevine, one of my new friends who was still tangentially connected to his circle, that he had to change his number entirely because of the sheer volume of angry calls and texts he was receiving. He was apparently getting threats, his carefully constructed web of lies unraveling completely, his reputation, at least within that online community and among his various unsuspecting girlfriends, was utterly destroyed. My mission was accomplished. This all happened many years ago now. I've moved on. I've healed, slowly, painfully, from the double whammy of the abuse and the betrayal. I learned valuable lessons about red flags, about needing time to heal after trauma, and about the deceptive nature of appearances. But it absolutely amazes me that even after all this time, even after having to block him multiple times, Brendan is still trying. He's tracked me down on different platforms over the years. He sent me a text message out of the blue about 5 years after all of this went down. Do you know what it said? "You're the one that got away." I just stared at the message, dumbfounded. The audacity, the complete lack of self-awareness. After everything he did, everything he was exposed for, he still thought he had the right to contact me, to claim I was the one that got away. It was pathetic. Truly, utterly pathetic. I blocked him again. And I have blocked him a couple more times since. He's still out there, I guess, trying to reconnect with the women whose lives he blew up. Or maybe trying to find new ones to deceive. But me? I moved on, stronger, wiser, and with the satisfying knowledge that sometimes, just sometimes, you have to give karma a little push. And when you do, the results can be beautifully, dramatically, utterly devastating for the person who deserves it most.